Welcome our tens of listeners to the TCAD 10-Minute Take. I'm Sheree, and this is our lovely Don the Legend Chambers from the TCAD podcast. And today for our 10-Minute Take, we are talking about the HappyTime murders.
HappyTime murders. Puppets.
All right, wait. Let me set the timer. And
that's right.
Okay, go.
HappyTime murders. Puppets, people, mayhem, curse words. What a mix. Let me start by saying, for me, the HappyTime murders was okay. Because look, at first the shock value when it first started with the puppets was kind of funny. There were definitely some moments in there with some of the jokes of the puppets that did make me laugh. I cannot lie about that. But when it wasn't those sort of shocking moments of puppets saying and doing things that you just don't expect, the story itself was of the movie was bland. People was bland. And the ending you can sort of see a mile away, which I guess was fine because, I mean, we weren't expecting a serious kind of thriller out of this. Let's put it that way.
Right.
I thought with maybe not so much lazy writing, they really could have made this something bigger and really explored the dynamic of the people puppets thing. They sort of touched on different parts, which could have made it even funnier or probably even more like, I can't believe they did that and went there. But they didn't. They just sort of touched around the edges. And then they went for like the easy sort of gross jokes or a lot of porn humor with puppets, which, don't get me wrong, still made me laugh. But that's really all that it was. So at the end, I was like, okay. I left, I was like, that was all right. You know, I've already forgotten most of the movie, you know, and it's only been like a day or so. So if I had to tell anybody, as much as I hate to admit it, this is looking like a wait for the red box sort of a deal to come out.
All right.
You hold on to it and give it back whenever you want, to be very honest.
That's fair. Okay. So for somebody who has worked with puppets extensively,
yeah, I would say you have.
I would say throughout my career, I have experience with puppets. I will say this. It's very difficult to do bada bing, bada boom, 1, 2, 3, comedy comes in threes, humor with puppets, because by the very nature of dealing with especially the multi-person puppets, when you have the one person doing the mouth and then
Somebody else doing the hands, right?
They have a tendency to be the pacing, they're slow. And so the pacing for jokes like that, they don't land as hard as they would if it was people or even if it was a cartoon animated. Like the timing isn't quite right. So, and it's just the nature of working with that type of puppetry is it makes that type of humor difficult. And so I really have to commend them for giving it because a lot of it was like, it really hit those marks. It's just, they didn't hit as hard as they could have because it was a little too slow, or like reaction. You have to wait that extra beat for a reaction from the puppet to land. And that extra beat in comedy is crucial for the joke to land as hard as it can. So, with that being said, I think that they did a great job with that. I think that, Mark and I have kind of been on a Melissa McCarthy, for some reason, binge in the Red Box. Like, we've just been like pulling these movies out of there. And we've been consistently disappointed with them because she's super talented and super funny, and nothing has like lived up to, essentially Bridesmaids, really. But this was probably the closest, like the best performance that we've seen from her in a really long time. I just think that, for her though, I feel like it has a lot to do with the direction. Sometimes like they try, like she is sort of a character who is hard to place because she's not exactly the straight man, but she's not necessarily the wild card either. So you kind of have to walk that line, and to have it be like the puppet is kind of the straight man for half the movie, like that made her have a little bit more latitude as far as like going nuts in the way that she can, that would still be believable and not like we watched, what's that other one with the back to school one, Life of the Party, and she was playing like this like simple Midwestern mom, but it was like they were hiding her like her exuberance. Like Melissa McCarthy was like at half strength, and so and it's kind of a bummer when you see her at half strength, and so I feel like at least in this movie she was like 80%. So
yes, I would say that you're right. Yeah, 80%.
Yeah, and so that was nice. And then Maya Rudolph is always a gem. She's just a treat. Even like this, she's just like even like the silliest, littlest nonsense. Like I can't even, it's nonsense. But it was extremely dirty. Some of the like to the point of where it was like maybe that's a little too much. Like I feel like for me, I think maybe even the clean version when it starts running in reruns on TNT might be funny. I'm always one of those ones when a movie is censored a little bit, like the F censored is funnier to me than the F.
Really?
Yeah, because like it's just something about knowing they're saying it and them not like, it's funnier to me. Not when they do like Mickey Mouse Bull Squash, like but like the beep censor or the blank out censor is sometimes funnier to me.
I was actually hoping that they would actually go further. I was just like, go further. Let's push it even harder. Let's bring out more of this.
I think it's too hard. I think that
really
a little, yeah. I think that this was a trial run. They want to see how, like, it's like stop motion animation where it's such a process to get puppets. It's hard, man. Like and so, you know, you kind of have to keep things really basic because sometimes even the person who's doing the mouth is not the person who's talking. And so like you can't afford to ad-lib a whole lot necessarily because of, I know that the guy who was Phil is a puppeteer, and like he was like, his voice sounds so familiar, but he wasn't anybody like any known name, but he's a puppeteer, which makes perfect sense because to be able to have that kind of fluidity with puppets, it would be impossible to have that puppet be somebody who wasn't a puppeteer, you know, to be able to like keep like, and so Mark and I were talking about like who else could pull off a movie like this and maybe make it funnier, and we were thinking like maybe Will Ferrell, because we were talking about a lot of different actors, and we were like, who could we like? Miss McCarthy was pretty much perfect for this because her being a woman and just her being also who she is gave a dynamic to the characters that was more interesting than it probably would have been otherwise. Like if it was two dudes, it would have been straight up the Maltese Falcon or Who Framed Roger Rabbit or any number of things that we'd seen a bunch of times before.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they
there was like no new ground. Yeah. They didn't break any new ground, and it was definitely, they played it too safe on the end of the story end.
Definitely the story end,
and for sure, and the dialogue too. And I think that some of that has to do with, and I don't want to like make excuses for him, but just knowing what I know about how that process is, like I think some of it had to do with like the simplification of the puppetry process and making it, you know, hopefully like as like that. I mean, I would love to see that as like, I think it would be really funny if HappyTime Murders, or like not HappyTime Murders, but like Phil and his partner were like, it was like a cop show on Netflix. Like I'd watch that shit. Like, I would totally watch that.
Absolutely, because I mean, when you were sort of seeing the dynamic of how bits of people sort of lived, I was getting into that. I wanted to sort of see more
like the racism and like
exactly like they would just
they didn't take it. They just touched on it and they didn't like take it far enough as they,
you know, but when they did, like with those couple jokes, like with the cow and the tentacle thing in that porn shop, when they just decided we're going all the way, I was in tears at that section.
Yeah.
That made me laugh, like, because they just we're gonna go for it. And so, yeah, they just hinted at certain things which would have made for like a bigger sort of a universe of like really
Yes.
understanding how this even came about. Yeah, I
And
agree with that.
yeah, and they did a lot with like CGI and like showing him walking and driving the car, which was hilarious just because you never seen it before. But I felt like that was confining to the story. Like to get those gags in there, they had to sacrifice in other places. That maybe could have brought more to the party story wise, which is why I think as a show it might be a better situation. That's our time. Okay, so let me just say, I think for me, matinee all the way. Like I would be, if I saw this as Saturday matinee, I would have been like, cool.
you would have been good enough to have paid a matinee ticket price.
Heck yeah, I would have paid a matinee ticket price. So definitely Redbox. I probably would have been mad if I paid full on $16.
Yeah, I would have been disappointed there too.
I'd have been like, what? But but I mean, even like $6.50 Tuesdays at the bridge, I would have been like, all right, cool.
Okay, right there.
Yeah.
$6.50 Tuesdays, absolutely.
Absolutely, all day long.
All day long. Yeah. I'd agree with you on that one.
But yeah, so that's these are getting harder to stay into 10 minutes. But that's
very.
But anyway, so we'll be back to TCAD podcast, and you can listen to our takes on Black Klansman. We'll talk a little bit more about HappyTime. I did take one for the team, and I saw the Meg.
Brave.
And we have some sundry items also to talk about with stuffs, entertainment stuffs in the news. So you can follow me on Twitter at Actor on the Edge. You can follow Don the Legend on Twitter at TCAD Podcast. You can email us tcadpodcast@gmail.com. Also go to our website, TCAD Network, tcadnetwork.com, and you can see all of our shows. It's the 10-minute take. You'll see the new episodes of stuff. I swear to God, Antioch is coming back. It is coming back. Yes. I'm having a really hard time right now.
We're anxiously awaiting.
But I can drop you. No, I'm not gonna say anything because it's really good.
Surprise.
Like there's a surprise coming for fans of Antioch. I promise it's coming back, and it'll be back.
It'll be great.
Siri is bugging. Am I hitting like a thing? She just. No, you can't help me with anything. All right. I don't know if that's like gonna be in the thing. Can you hear that when she beeps?
No.
Okay.
Just you.
Okay, it's just in the headphones. All right.
It's just in the headphones.
Okay, so yeah, so follow us, like us. So don't forget to subscribe, ding that bell, subscribe, and catch all new episodes of TCAD 10-Minute Take. I think next time we will talk about something also awesome. Or listen to the full podcast because we got a ton more movies that we both did not see, so we will talk about those.
Yes. See you then.